It's currently April as we sit down to
Yeah.
talk, and the United States is again embroiled in a Middle Eastern conflict.
Yeah.
Negotiating the Iran nuclear deal was one of the major achievements of your presidency.
Yeah.
As you were in the throes of that diplomacy,
Yeah.
to what level was military action a tool in your arsenal, or was that considered at all?
Oh, it was definitely considered.
What's the push-pull between diplomacy and military action?
My basic theory was that Iran couldn't become a nuclear state, that the regime itself was murderous, oftentimes towards its own people, engaged in state-sponsored terrorism, was a threat to the United States and allies of ours. So the idea that they would have nuclear weapons would be extraordinarily dangerous. It would also trigger a nuclear arms race in what is a powder keg. What I also believed was that the regime was not entirely irrational, that they had a survival instinct, and that when you carry out military force, innocent people die, so we should try to use that as a last resort instead of the first. And we went about trying to negotiate a diplomatic agreement that would get the enriched uranium out of Iran, that would assure that they could not get to a nuclear weapon without us knowing about it, that it was internationally agreed upon, and that there were mechanisms in place to enforce it and verify it. And we pulled it off. Without firing a missile, we got 97% of their enriched uranium out. They were able to maintain a modest civilian nuclear program for energy. And
So you think it was working?
well, not only did I think it was working, even Israeli intelligence thought it was working. Even our intelligence services thought it was working. So there's no dispute that it worked, and we didn't have to kill a whole bunch of people or shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Now,
Well, there was some dispute that it didn't work.
Well,
our present president believed that it didn't work, which is
well,
why he pulled out of it.
It's not clear that he didn't believe that it didn't work. He just said it didn't work.
Worst deal of all
Yeah,
time.
because I did it, which is fine. That seems to be a pattern. But there was no serious independent folks who would say that it didn't work with respect to the nuclear program. Now, if your agenda was to bring about regime change in Iran, well, that wasn't the goal of the agreement. If your goal was to dismantle the Iranian military so that it couldn't cause any other problems in the region, then it didn't do that, but that wasn't the goal, right? So part of this balance between military force and diplomacy is based on what are your objectives? What are your goals? And is it important for the United States as the most powerful nation on earth to show certain restraint? To say, all right, we'd rather take care of this really big problem, recognize we're not going to solve all problems without going to war, rather than pretend or delude ourselves into thinking that just by going to war we're going to fix all problems, where usually we end up causing more.